And now we're on part 3 of the Dreamweaver tutorial. If you are, and you should be, following along with the on-paper handout, the PDF, that'd be page 18. Please read that paragraph at the start. The idea is that we have all the text. That was all the text. We just pasted it in. But we need to have the structure. And the structure we're going to create is actually illustrated pretty well, I think, in that little color diagram on that page 18. And these are going to be different grouping sectioning items that are going to grab chunks of stuff so we can do things to it. And it also allows us to make the switch from one screen size to another, so that on larger screens, most of the page content will be displayed as 2 columns, but on smaller screens, the right column, the aside, will drop down below the other one. And also other things will happen at different screen sizes too. So we're going to use the DOM panel, DOM panel, to add structure to the page. And here it is over here. In fact, I'm not sure if you've been noticing, but and by the way, I do have, if you don't already, you should have your site open using site definition with site new site, so you can see in your folders here and your files, and the index page should be open, which should also open the source code. No, I've not changed the name of my responsive yet, but I'll do that at some point. It actually doesn't matter what the word is, as long as it's the same there and there. But I'm not sure if you've noticed, in the meantime, all the structure that we've added so far has been showing up in this panel. And this panel shows the HTML, the head, the body, and inside the body, it shows the div and the UL and the paragraphs and the headings and everything. That's the DOM, the structure. It stands for Document Object Model. It's sort of a roadmap for browsers to identify different parts of a page. We haven't. You can read more about this in your text. This is a part of the text we haven't really done, but this idea of a DOM structure. So we looked at the panel, and by default it occupies the lower half of the group. If necessary, you can click on it to bring it to the front. Sometimes assets or something else will be there instead, but we want to see DOM for sure. We can also change the amount of space one thing or another gets with this by pushing our back and forth there. You can also open it if you lose the DOM panel by going to the window menu and selecting it. And it should look similar, as it says, to the illustration over the next page, which is what we have for sure. Same thing. Oh, there's some other things, snippets, which are set here, but we don't worry about those. I think that's an addition to the program. Some of the items in the DOM panel may be collapsed. They could be. If you don't see the LIs, it's because of the little triangle there. Okay. Some elements are nested. This shows the nesting of some elements inside others. So this H1 is inside the div, for instance, which is inside the body, and so on. Nested elements are called child elements or children. Outer elements are parents. Elements of the same level are called siblings. This is also part of the text we did not spend much time with. And I haven't really been discussing pages in this way. Our pages don't have a lot of, until now, I don't have a lot of this kind of structure on them. So the DOM panel can be regarded as displaying the structure of the page like a family tree. Good, okay? Some things are descendants of others. Some things are ancestors of others. You can look at it that way too. And again, I'm on page 19, number 4. Select the H1 element here, then hold down the Shift key to select the UL element as well. The selected elements should be highlighted in bright blue. If the UL element is expanded, the LIs will also be a lighter blue. So if I select this H1, and then I also select, I'm going to hold down the Shift key and click on this one, I have selected all those things. In fact, I can see over here, it shows where I am too, where my cursor is and everything. All right, click the plus button to the left of the UL and select wrap tag as shown. So if we want to put a tag, something around all this stuff, I can hit the plus button right here, okay? And I'm going to choose wrap tag. All right. So now, and a pair of editable fields open up above the H1 element. There it is right there, the editable field. The default tag suggested by the Dreamweaver is a div. It's saying, do you want to add a div around those things? Replace this by typing the word header. I'm going to type the word header. This is in the left part of the field. As soon as I start popping code, yes, code hints come up and so on. Leave the editable field on the right blank. Over here, we could add something else on the right. This is where we could specify an ID or class for the element, but header is a particularly new HTML5 element. It doesn't need to have anything else. And header element, so on and so forth, selected, wrap tag. Okay, so we're going to leave this for empty, confirm the edit. If I hit enter, that will confirm it. In fact, 2 enters will do it. So now I have a header which wraps both those tags, in other words. And it's been added here too. Look at our header starts there and goes to there. So it's a way of looking at the structure and adding things like divs, or in this case header tags, in the structural portion, and then they show up over here. And actually it showed up here too, right? All right, so let's go select the first paragraph immediately after the UL. So there's the UL, there's that first paragraph right there. You can confirm you've selected the element by looking at the live view or code view. The paragraph beginning Bayside Beat Keep should be highlighted, and it is. See, there you go. Now we're moving on to page 21. Click the plus button and select wrap tag. So again, we're going to do another one. We're going to do a wrap tag, and we're going to do div is correct. We're going to take a div this time, and this time we're going to type hashtag hero, HERO, over in the field that's to the right of where it says div. So why do we call this hero? Hero is, we'll see that later on, is the name, that's the word that's often used to describe the large photo on a page. It's the hero photo, the big image. And in here is where we're later going to put that big image, and it's going to go along with that paragraph. Is going to be part of that div also. So we did hero, and we are going to and by the way, we'll notice also that when we're making the divs in here in the DOM panel, it isn't automatically adding to our CSS. So I'm going to hit enter, and that will accept it, and my div hero has been entered in there. The only time we automatically get connections to the CSS is when we add the divs this way up here. But we'll see other ways we can add to the CSS as we go forward. Using this, we're going to be using the CSS Designer tab up here. Okay, using the same technique, wrap the first H2 and the next 3 paragraphs in an element called main. And it's not going to have an ID or anything like that. So I said that's going to be first H2 and the next 3 paragraphs. So that's H2, 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. So shift and click on that paragraph. And then I'm going to click on wrap tag, and we're going to call this main, which is a particular HTML5 element. And I can enter and then enter again, and it will be accepted as main, and the main is created that. There's a main now around that area there. All right, then wrap the next H2 and the following 2 paragraphs and call it an aside. So we're building more structure. H2 and the following 2 paragraphs. Not all the paragraphs. We're leaving the last paragraph as the footer. But this is going to be called an aside, which is another HTML5 element. So we're getting to use the most modern elements here. We haven't used an aside or a main or a header before. So we can call this aside. Remember, the word aside itself doesn't do anything, but it does really carry the idea that it's going to be something that's sort of like a sidebar. And because this is a particular HTML5 element, it doesn't need to have any classes or IDs. 2 enters will be needed to make that work. And then we're going to do the footer. The last paragraph is going to be wrapped in a footer. And we could have made these all divs with like an idea footer or something like that, but the footer itself is a real thing. 2 enters, and it will give me the footer, which is going around the copyright. Outdated copyright, actually. All right, so we did that whole DOM, and it should look like this if my illustration has collapsed that UL, but we've got the div wrapper, the header, the div hero, the main, the aside, the footer. And this wouldn't be a bad place to save. If something is screwed up, you could delete things and start over. You actually could move these things around in here. If you take like this paragraph and pull it up over the other paragraph, it would change the order of the paragraphs for real. So you actually can make major structural changes with this DOM panel. But the changes are major, so we would like to avoid that if we can. So let's save the work. Okay, so we're now on page 22. The structure matches. I mentioned the hero div is where we're going to put the big image of the Golden Gate Bridge. Building HTML structure like this might seem a long way from creating an attractive design. You might be saying, well, yeah, but the page doesn't look any different yet. But it's really what HTML is about. It's creating a really good structure underneath that we're going to then attach presentation to. And it's also a structure that makes sense. The things are labeled with what their function is. So that's important. So let's create some links. Links, or to give them the proper name, hyperlinks, right? It's what makes the web the web. We can link to different, we can link inside the website. We can do absolute links outside. We can do email links, so on and so forth. So let's select the first bullet point home. Let's do some relative links, some internal links first. So I'm going to click on, whoops, let's click up here and click on home. And now we can see that orangey golden editing field around it. And if we double click in there, so it may be necessary, sometimes it's necessary to double click in there. If I just click here once, it's just coming up that way. So we are in the editing field. That's fine. All right. So we're in there at the bullet point home, and we could select all this text here like that too, okay, to select it. And you'll see we actually have a link field right here, okay? But there's a number of ways to make links. Oh, sorry, I just had a little pause there. So yes, I've selected my home again, and when I select the entire word, I get this link choice. I click on link. I could just type in here. Of course, this is supposed to go to this page, right? Or create navigation. I could do that. I know the name of the thing, but instead, to be really safe, I can browse for this file, okay? And I can see indexes right here. I can select it and say OK or double click on it. If I wasn't in the right place, I could use the site root folder to begin with. I can just say OK, and that has now made a link. And there is the link been created right down there. All right. So we're going to go away, click off. We can see that it's actually underlined also, right? It might seem like overkill to use a select file dialog box rather than just typing the thing in, but it ensures that it's getting it right, that it's making sense. Let's repeat this previous step with the next one, which is sites. So I'm going to select it, okay, and then I can click on this thing, click on this, click on sites, or double click on it, and it made the link. Okay, good. That's fine. There aren't any pages for these remaining ones, so we're just going to have a hashtag field in there. So I'm just going to type hashtag, and then the same thing for this one. Hashtag, these are dummy links. Hashtag, and I can enter or click off, it will be fine. Okay, why are they different colors? Well, these are shown as visited, and these are shown as static. That's the difference, but they're just basic links. Okay, so we did all those. Double click on the first paragraph after riding the cable cars and select the text Fisherman's Wharf. It's going to be to another link in external website. We can get that link from that Word document, which I still have open, or you can take a pause and go open it right now, and you'll see I gave you those links, those URLs right here. So I've got a URL right there. It's going to go to the Fisherman's Wharf, which is going to be in the first paragraph after riding cable cars. Okay, where are we? All right, riding cable cars. All right. Fisherman's Wharf. There's the text right there. Oops, I'm going to select the text first. We get the link field. I click on link and paste it in there. Hit enter. And now I've established that link. Fisherman's Wharf is now an absolute link there. We can cut and paste from the Word document, Fisherman's Wharf. There's a number of other ways to add link text instead of using the edit mode. You can simply select the text and paste the links into the slot in the properties menu. See, we have a link slot down here also. Let's going to try that for the next 2 links, it says. Sure, why not? External links for the first paragraph after cable car tips, Muni transport. Cable car tips, first paragraph, Muni transport. Go to the Word document, Muni transport, passport, whatever it is. Sorry, passport. Go back to Dreamweaver. To Muni passport. I'm going to select this text here. I could just click on the link there, but I can click down here and link and paste it in there, and hit enter, and the same thing happens. Okay, so there's a link button there too. And also we're going to do the next one, which is called BART Subway System, which is a little bit further on. Let's grab the text, BART.gov. So that's all the links we're doing. Just a few links so you can see the process. BART Subway. I just do BART Subway. Okay, and I'm going to click down here and link, paste, and enter. There's actually even other ways to make links. As usual in Adobe programs, there's like 12 ways to do everything, but that's all you need right there, I think. We create external links for those, yes. Common mistake in linking the external website is to omit the HTTP or HTTPS, so on. So we got those. And if it doesn't see those, it's going to think they're as internal links. So we definitely want to make sure we copy the URL correctly. Okay, hey, you know what? That's the end of part 3. That went by pretty fast. So we should just make sure to save our work as always, right? And it wouldn't hurt to just go ahead and open in browser, Chrome, see where we are. Nothing too much has changed more. We mostly just have the links. We don't see all that structure underneath that we created, but it will be important for the future.